The state of Texas started notifying summer camps they are not in compliance with new safety laws and may not be allowed to open this summer. One of those camps is Camp Mystic, where 27 campers and counselors died in last year's July 4th flooding. It plans to reopen a portion of the camp, and families of victims are fighting against that. Just yesterday, DPS investigators were at the camp. Fox 4's Amelia Jones has more on the letter and what camps need to do to open. Amelia.
Steve, I want to start by mentioning that all Texas youth camps have to adhere to the new requirements. The Department of State Health Services told us that so far 174 camps have applied for a license, and all 174 have received letters demanding changes to their emergency plans. But there's a lot of focus on Camp Mystic, in part because of the 27 deaths there last year that spurred these new requirements, and also because some are demanding they not receive a license to reopen this summer. According to DSHS, there are numerous gaps in Camp Mystic's emergency plan, including a missing FEMA floodplain map, an insufficient role and responsibilities listed for staff in the emergency and disaster planning, an incomplete evacuation plan, an insufficient emergency warning system, insufficient notification processes for parents and guardians, and incomplete camper safety training. In a statement, Camp Mystic told us it is working closely with DSHS to address the deficiencies. Last week, a judge upheld a temporary injunction barring Camp Mystic from altering or cleaning up parts of its campgrounds on the Guadalupe River. But the camp still wants to reopen this summer on the side of the property located on Cypress Lake, and reportedly more than 800 girls have already signed up. Again, Camp Mystic is not the only youth camp that received a letter requiring revisions to its emergency plan. Last year, state lawmakers passed legislation with overwhelming support from both sides of the aisle. However, Republican Texas House Representative Wes Rudell, who represents Kirk County, believes the bill goes too far and will punish many family-run camps.
The big concerns were the fiber optic requirement. We get calls from camps saying it's going to cost about $2 to $3 million in a lot of these more remote places to get fiber optic. The other concern is the 1,000-foot floodway distance, 1,000 foot from a floodway requirement. And we have camps that have, even in the worst flooding through Kerrville, didn't see any water on their cabins. And yet they're being told that about half of their cabins now were unusable. And if you think about that, that's about half of their revenue loss for the summer.
Rudell says he's gathering signatures for a letter of request to Governor Abbott to hold a special session to revisit the bills and make amendments before the camps open this summer. It's not clear what kind of support he has. We did hear some complaints about the regulations before the bills were passed, but it still received significant support, rather. I did reach out to the bill's authors, but have not heard back yet. Steve?
Yeah, it's going to get support because of the shocking number of deaths that happened last summer, I would think. So what happens next for these camps? What if they can't meet the requirements? Just shut down over for this summer?
Well, Steve, if there is no special session and the requirements stay as is, the camps have 45 days to revise their emergency plans and then resubmit them. If they correct them accordingly, they can move forward with the process to get a license. If they don't, then yes, they will not be able to get a license.
Got that. And you got a hold of a letter to another camp. Were there similar issues, more or less egregious than Camp Mystic, that what we're hearing? What did that letter say?
I have a copy of the DSHS letter to Camp La Junta, an all-boys camp up the river from Camp Mystic. DSHS flagged many of the same gaps. However, it is worth noting that Camp La Junta also suffered significant flooding last year. So it's still unclear if camps getting these letters that did not deal with significant flooding on that portion of the Guadalupe River, if they are also being warned of so many deficiencies.